Good evening, race fans, and welcome to the third to last race of the American Super Late... Let me try that again. The American Sim Racing Club Super Late Model Touring Series of 2022. My name is Mason Heimball with Team Goon Squad, bringing you the action here tonight, 1080p, 60 frames a second, here tonight at Irwindale Speedway, and not just Irwindale Speedway, as the, the track map that's currently displayed on your screen. No, we are not racing a road course as it would appear to look like at this moment, but we are in fact racing the inner oval of Irwindale Speedway. So it is just over 0.3 of a mile in length, and it will be a purely flat track race that we have here tonight. 20 lap heat that we will have here tonight, as well as a 100-lap feature as drivers currently are making their way around the racetrack, getting themselves their best time that they possibly can here for tonight's race, getting their best time sorted out here. And just how small this track is, most of our drivers have already completed their laps here in this short time frame. Lap times looking at about 14 seconds for the most part, not even dipping into the 14.5 second side, maybe in the slower side of times here tonight. But so far, ooh, Nick Fleury, the number 25 machine. Yeah, folks, this is a lot of what we're going to see here tonight, is these drivers just getting really loose here, as again, the flat inner oval here at Irwindale Speedway is what we are going to be racing on. And given what I've seen here throughout practice, the little bit of practice that I've seen here before we got started in our broadcast, this is going to be quite the interesting race. And I mean, drivers are going to be clicking off laps relatively quickly, but they are also going to be a lot of sliding around that we're seeing right now from the number 52 machine of Austin Nielsen, the Bud Light, going to the outside oval here, bringing the 52 car to a stop. And that's going to be the end of his qualifying run here, and I do believe that is going to be the end of all of our drivers' qualifying runs here, as there are only 11 drivers present here for the race tonight. So I would assume that at some point there's probably going to be a, yep, there it is, the flag is waved, and that is going to be the end of our qualifying session, and we're going to go ahead and get into a short, nope, never mind, that will happen after the fact. So we are going to get into our starting lineup of our heat race, the only heat race of the night, and it's going to be Billy Thomas in the number 9 car, starting out in the front row with Austin Nielsen, the 52, on the outside in second place, rounding out your first row. Matthew Catania, the 318 car, going to be taking the third place spot in the inside of second row here. John Kane, the 29 machine, going to be in fourth place on the outside of the second row. David Payton, the number 38 machine, going to be in fifth place on the inside of the third row. Brett Hahn, the number 71 machine, going to be in sixth place on the outside of the third row. Ron Hart in seventh place. Charles Darling in eighth. Nick Fleury in ninth. Andrew Payne in 10th place. And rounding out our field here is going to be Nathan Henry, the number 59 machine. So, as we have just a little bit of a lull here before we get ourselves ready for tonight's action, it has been an action-packed season here with American Sim Racing Club for the Super Late Model Touring Series. Folks, I hope that for everyone that has been watching the series, has kind of been following along the action here since the very start, has enjoyed what we've seen as drivers are going to be getting themselves ready to follow along the pace truck for a very short pace lap around here at Irwindale Speedway. Just a little bit of a points information right now. The points battle is very much tense right now, as there is only 10 points separating the top three at this point in time. Brett Hahn is currently the championship leader at this point in the season. But will he be the one to come out on the very top is the question to be answered here, as Brett Hahn has seen quite a lot of competition here throughout the season. So I'm excited to see how this is all going to play out as we are getting ready for our third to last race of the season here at Irwindale Speedway, as the Pacers truck has made his way down into pit lane, and we are green flag racing here at Irwindale Speedway. Oh, and the 318, Matthew Catania already getting a little bit loose here out of turn 1, and is going to see the yellow flag waved here for the very first time at Irwindale Speedway right off the rip here in our heat race with only 19 laps left to go. And we'll be right back in just one moment, folks. I have to fix something, and I will be right back. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks. Did you miss me? I hope you didn't miss me too much, because just needed to get that squared away and taken care of before it became too much of an annoyance to myself up here in the booth. But anyway, folks, I hope you are ready for the rest of the action here. I mean, this was a very interesting start here to tonight's race. I mean, again, a flat, short oval that we have here. I mean, I'm sure that a lot of these drivers are, man, it's a tough race. This is going to be a tough race through and through. Here as the pace truck makes its dive back down into pit lane, we're back to green flag racing here. Let's see how this is going to play out for the rest of our field. We're going to watch a little bit of side-by-side action here. We've already got some... Nope, never mind. There's no carnage happening right now. We're looking at the front of the field on the left-hand side of your screen, as well as the midfield with Andrew Payne down on the inside of a little bit of action here. 17 laps left to go here in this heat race. Right now, it's Billy Thomas, Austin Nielsen, Matthew Catania, all in our top 3 right now. Billy Thomas doing an excellent job of keeping out in front of the rest of the field here. You see Matthew Catania trying to get into the bumper of Brett Hahn. Ooh, wow, Brett Hahn actually making a move down onto the inside of Matthew Catania, able to push his way up into 3rd place. Here, as it seems, Brett Hahn rocking a Microsoft paint scheme here for tonight's race. I absolutely love the simplicity. You can see just how wide. Oh, man! Austin Nielsen getting a little bit of tap there from Brett Hahn. That's going to send the caution out here for our 20-lap heat race. The second time already. Let's see if we can take a look back at what happened here in the Team Goon Squad instant replay. Here it is. Oh, man, just the slightest nudge to the left rear bumper of the 52 of Austin Nielsen. That's enough to send him spinning out into the top of what I think is, that is turn 4. So, with our second caution, the drivers are going to get themselves stacked back up here behind the pace truck. And for the front of our field here, It'll be Billy Thomas, Matthew Catania, and Charles Darling in our top 3. And after that little bit of contact that Brett Hahn and Austin Nielsen had, I'm sure that, Brett Hahn's got to be frustrated, to say the least, but Austin Nielsen's definitely not going to be too pleased with that. As the pace truck has backed down into pit road, this is going to be a rather quick night of racing here, folks, as far as, caution cycles and all that. But the race laps in general are also going to be pretty quick here. Again, only about little over 14 seconds per lap here at Irwindale Speedway on the inner oval. Man, look at Andrew Payne trying to make a move down on the inside of the 59 of Nathan Henry. He's going to be successful in doing so here with 10 laps left to go. Andrew Payne going to push his way up into 5th place here, the top 5. Going into the feature here tonight at Irwindale Speedway, but it's 9 laps left to go here for the heat race. Anything could possibly happen, and right now, Charles Darling going to be side by side here with Billy Thomas as Matthew Catania, the 318 car, able to work his way up into 1st place. Leading this field now with only 8 laps left to go. Charles Darling, the number 88 machine. Man, oh man. You can see Andrew Payne also up here trying to push his way as close as he can to the top 3. Look at this, the move down onto the inside. Is he going to be able to make it stick? The 51 of Ron Hart just in front of Andrew Payne, preventing that move up into the top 3 here for the 93 car. Billy Thomas, the number 9 machine, having fallen back here into 5th place. Probably not going to be too satisfied with this heat race thus far, but still going to be sitting in the top 5. And for a race like this, frankly, oh man, I honestly don't know what I would do as a driver in this case scenario. You'd start out wherever you can and just click off laps and hope that enough drivers ahead of you make mistakes. But in a league like this, with the American Sim Racing Club, where you have so many confident and just skillful drivers in this series, you can't really bank on that. Matthew Catania still out in front with 2 laps left to go as we cross the checkered line. It's looking like it's going to be Matthew Catania taking home the lead here, the top of the grid going into our feature race, with Charles Darling in 2nd, Ron Hart in 3rd. The white flag is waved here as we cross the checkered line once again. And right now, Matthew Catania, as he comes out of 3 and 4, there it is, across the checkered line, he's going to take home 1st place here going into the feature race, with Charles Darling in 2nd, Ron Hart in 3rd. And we are going to have a short warm-up period for our drivers. Here is our race results from that first heat race. There you see Matthew Catania, the 318 machine, taking 1st place. Charles Darling in 2nd. Ron Hart in 3rd. Andrew Payne in 4th. Billy Thomas in 5th place. In 6th place as well, you see Brett the Jet Hahn, the number 71 machine, who, while we have a little bit of time here to get ourselves warmed up before the start of the race here tonight, let's go ahead. I'm going to have a word here with Brett Hahn and just get a little bit of input here on what happened during that heat race. Brett, sir, do you have a read?
Yeah, I got you, Mason.
Brett, welcome up here to the booth. I hope I'm not disturbing you too much here as you're getting your warm-up in, but, man, I got to ask you, what happened during that heat race between yourself and Austin Nielsen, the 52 machine? It just looked like just the slightest, ever so slightest tap to his left rear bumper, and that just sent him spinning out, and the caution came out, and you two found yourself at the back of the grid. You came out on 6th place. What's your thought process in that, Brett?
Yeah, it's a big bummer there because we were going for the same spot. I feel like the leader made a mistake there, pushed way up, and we're kind of both going for it. I felt like I had a little bit of a nose in there, but definitely not positioned. So tried to back on out of it, and like you said, just the ever so slightest contact with the left rear, and it sent the 52 around, and I spun it on out, trying to make sure I didn't make more contact with him. So a bummer from the heat race there, trying to go for the heat win. But we'll come back stronger, like you said. Made it up to 6 there, so that's at least hopefully signs of good things to come, because now we got to pass 5 really fast cars and also worry about Austin.
Oh, I lost you there for a second, Brett. Well, Brett, while you, if you're working out any technical difficulties here, you are currently the leader in the championship right now with the most points, but from what I understand, the top 3 is only separated by 10 points here in the season, with only, after tonight, will only be 2 races left in the season. Brett, how are you feeling right now, knowing that you are very, very close to being knocked out of that championship spot?
Yeah, Mason, it's definitely a little bit of extra pressure because I was.
Whoa, I cannot hear you there, Brett. It seems like you're talking very, very far away from me.
Is this better, Mason?
It is not, but hopefully, if we find yourself up here in the booth later tonight, we get that worked out tonight, Brett. One tech tip that I can give you, give it an unplug and a replug, you know, just do the old turn it back on and back on again, and hope that works out for you. Little interesting, because it kind of cut out there right in the middle of you talking, so I'm interested if just a cable is loose or what the case is. But Brett, we only have a few short minutes left here before we get back to the action here tonight, so I'm going to let you get back into your warm-up and hopefully see yourself back here up in the booth towards the end of the night. Brett, I know you're still having a little bit of technical issues, so I'll let you work on that. But have a good race tonight, Brett, and I look forward to seeing what the 71 machine has in stock tonight. All right, folks. So just having a short word there with Brett the Jet Hahn, currently the race leader, or the championship leader at this point in the season. With only, after tonight, only 2 races left to go. The last 2 races going to be Martinsville and Nashville Super Speedway. Ooh, Nashville is going to be a fun one. But anyhow, it is going to be tough. Either way, going into the rest, well, the final 2 races of the season, as well as tonight, given just how difficult this track is. I'm excited, folks. I hope you all are excited. In just a few more moments until we get ourselves into the starting lineup of our feature race here tonight at Irwindale Speedway. All right, folks, so here is our starting lineup for tonight's feature race. 100 laps here at the Inner Oval at Irwindale Speedway. It's going to be Matthew Catania, the 318 car, taking the inside line of row 1. Charles Darling, the 88 machine, on the outside of row 2. Ron Hart, the 51 car, on the inside of row 2 with Andrew Payne on the outside. Billy Thomas on the inside of row 3 in the number 9 machine with Brett Hahn on the outside with the 71 car. Austin Nielsen in 7th place. Nathan Henry taking 8th place here tonight. David Payton in 9th place. John Kane in 10th. And Nick Fleury going to be in 11th place here tonight. right, folks, so we are about to get ready for the pace truck to make its dive down into pit road. As we work our way through turns 3 and 4, there goes the pace truck with its quick dive. Green flag is down and away we go here tonight at Irwindale Speedway. 100 laps here that we're going to see, but it's going to be 100 very, very quick laps. Austin Nielsen, ooh, hot on the heels of the number 9 of Billy Thomas. Very, very good work from these drivers, keeping themselves enough distance to avoid that contact between each other here on this very, very short and flat oval. A little bit of contact there between Austin Nielsen, Billy Thomas. Nothing coming of it, though. Matthew Catania still holding on to this lead here. We'll get an in-car camera view of Andrew Payne, the number 93 machine, currently holding on to 3rd place. You can see just ahead of Billy Thomas. We're going to check back in here with just a little bit further behind the field. Ron Hart, the number 51 machine, in 9th place currently. All of these drivers doing a very phenomenal job staying down low. I mean, oh, we got a little bit of action right as I say that, too. Billy Thomas bringing out the incident here. Let's see exactly what unfolds. Here we're watching the number 9, Billy Thomas. The Dodge SRT machine. Oh, a little bit of a tap from the 52 Bud Light, Austin Nielsen. That's going to be enough to send the number 9 car spinning around the wrong direction and bringing out the caution here tonight at Irwindale Speedway for the very first time for our feature race. But I do have to say, if our heat race was anything to go by, tonight's feature will definitely be action-packed and full of interesting events. So there it goes. The pace truck is about to make its dive. Out of turn 4 and away the green flag drops. Back to green flag racing here at Irwindale Speedway. Matthew Catania trying to get away from this angry group of drivers behind. Well, not angry, but seemingly angry. Bunch of drivers behind them, trying to work up positions as much as they can. And Brett Hahn here, the number 71 car, able to push his way up here into the top 3. Gonna now be trailing behind Charles Darling, trying to track him down, see what he can do to make up a position there. Andrew Payne as well. Look at this number 93 car. I mean, he is just pushing it here. Every single turn, he's trying to close it in to the 71 of Brett Hahn. Absolutely impressive. Oh, look at this. Brett Hahn making a move down on the inside of the 88 of Charles Darling, pushing him up to the middle outside line. Charles Darling not going to have anything to respond with other than just trying to keep up and push Brett Hahn out of the way here, but it's not going to be enough. Brett Hahn still side by side with Charles Darling here. Coming down the back straightaway through turns 3 and 4. It's going to be enough there for Brett Hahn to push his way up into 2nd place. Now it's Andrew Payne and Charles Darling duking it out for 3rd. But that's not going to last for long as Charles Darling stuck on that outside line. He's not really going to have the same pace, the same grip as the rest of the drivers on his inside line. And here it goes. Brett Hahn down on the inside of Matthew Catania. He's going to push his way, try to at least, up into first place. Andrew Payne right on the heels of the 71. He's going to be looking to take possibly that second place spot here once things are said and done. A little bit of bumping and banging happening here between, looks like Nick Fleury, Charles Darling here as well. Man, it just seems like Matthew Catania not really able. Oh, there he goes. Finally able to find a spot to get himself down onto the rest of the line here that all the other drivers are on. Austin Nielsen, though. Or maybe not. For some reason, it was saying that Austin Nielsen was having a moment, but he seems fine right now. Lap 19 of 100. Here's an inside camera view of David Payton, the number 38 machine. Brett Hahn, who's now leading this field. 22 laps that we've already ticked off here tonight at Irwindale Speedway. And I gotta say, this has gotta be one of the toughest oval races here in the series, aside from the one and only road course race that we saw here at American Sim Racing Club. I'm trying to recall which race it was. I believe it was Daytona. But either way, either how, aside from my short memory, with how, I mean, this is kind of almost giving me kind of flashbacks to the very first season that we covered here with American Sim Racing Club, where this was kind of a lot of the action that we saw. Short, very short ovals and just tight racing all the way throughout. And I mean, this is what I live for. I love to see this sort of action. And the guys at American Sim Racing Club do a phenomenal job of putting that on here every single week. And I think this race here might be probably one of the most intense ones here in the season. I mean, I know things are pretty well calm at the moment, but we're only still just about 30 laps into the race, and there's still 60 left to go once we cross the line here once again. Most of our drivers opting to go pretty well single file here, which is to be expected. I mean, there's not a whole lot of room on this track. There's also not a whole lot of distance to get up to speed, so you're really, really relying on hitting your braking points almost perfectly every single time. Lap 34 of 100. Taking a little bit of a look back here towards the tail end of the field here. We're looking at Nathan Henry, the 59 machine, currently duking it out with the 29 of John Kane for that 9th place spot. Between them, Austin Nielsen sitting up in 8th place is sitting about 2 seconds ahead of them. And I mean, you might think of that and you might look at this and think 2 seconds here on an oval course that's a little over 3/10 of a mile in length. That's interesting. But folks, I gotta say, you know, these flat track ovals are probably the toughest ovals here on not only the iRacing service, but probably in real life in general. I mean, these tracks are a true testament to a driver's skill. And I've probably said that a lot in many of my previous broadcasts, but I gotta reiterate that here. I mean, this flat tracks, flat ovals, hands down, probably the toughest tracks as an oval racer that you could probably do. You know, you go to places here like Irwindale, you go to places like, you go to places like Indianapolis Motor Speedway where it's a big track and there's a little bit of banking, but it's still pretty flat. You go to places like, Nashville Fairgrounds. That's also pretty flat if I remember correctly. I mean, these tracks that, you know, you don't have a lot of banking, you can't really rely on that bank to not only slow you down a little bit, but also to just kind of help set your turn. You know, be able to get that car to settle into the turn just a little bit more, be able to get that turn a little bit smoother, cleaner, so on and so forth. But here at flat tracks, it's a completely different story. It's all up to the driver to be able to keep that line clean and clear all the way through. And it's tough. I can't say this enough, folks. It is extremely tough. Let's actually ride on board here for a moment here with Charles Darling and just see exactly how tough it can be to drive any race car here on a flat track such as Irwindale Speedway. Enjoy the sights and sounds here at Irwindale Speedway for just a moment, and let's listen to Charles Darling rip some laps. Excellent driving here from Charles Darling. And I mean, frankly, you look at any of these drivers here throughout the field and you'll see a lot of the same same situation happening. I mean, a lot of these drivers here are having to pay attention to not only how they're going into a turn, but also paying attention to the drivers ahead of them. I mean, it's a very, very fine game of, well, you could almost kind of consider it like a very fast and fine game of chess. Look at this, Brett Hahn. He has found himself shuffled out of first place here. Andrew Payne able to take the lead. Brett Hahn sitting in first at this point in time. We're going to take a quick look at the replay of when Andrew Payne made that pass here as well, just for a quick moment. Here he is, Andrew Payne down on the inside of the 71 of Brett Hahn. Brett Hahn trying to do all that he can to defend that position, but he's not quite going to be able to do so. And Brett Hahn here going to find himself in the same situation that Matthew Catania was in earlier on in the race. On that outside line, not really able to build up any sort of speed and being forced to fall back multiple positions. Lap 57 of 100. We're just over the halfway point here in the race. And again, I mean, a lot of this field has found themselves single file, and that's pretty much what I expected here in this racetrack. Not a whole lot of opportunities for passing. I mean, pretty much the only chance that you have is down on the inside. Charles Darling, it looks like the 88 car truck. I mean, man, it looks like a very... Man, he is trying everything to try and make this outside line work. Yeah, look at this. He's given it everything he can, but that outside line just doesn't have the same speed, the same exit. It's a whole plethora of issues that you have when you're trying to take this outside line here on an oval that is, oh wow, look at that. David Payton almost getting to the rear end of Nick Fleury, the 25 machine, but avoiding contact, doing a very good job of checking up there. There it is again, another checkup, wow. It looks like Billy Thomas making his way back out onto track after coming down into pit lane. Actually, no, he didn't come down into pit lane. I'm not sure what he was down for. He might have been way back to the rear of the field. I'm not sure, 100% certain on that, but either way, all 11 of our drivers are still racing out on track, even despite the lone caution that we've had here in the race. And that was on before, it was in the top 10, the opening 10 laps of the race. And frankly, since then, it has been incredibly clean racing all the way through. Again, most of our drivers taking a single file approach, which is to be expected here. But it's still surprising to see some of these drivers trying to take that, I mean, any line. Whether it's the inside or the outside line, these drivers are trying everything that they possibly can to overcome their competitors. And this is a tough track to do it at. I can't emphasize that enough. Oh man, let's actually ride on the nose camera here of the 38 of David Payton from the top roof. This will give us a better picture of the action down on the racetrack here. Look at just how close these cars are, and look at how short these straightaways are. I mean, you don't have a whole lot of time to get on the throttle, or, I mean, really, you don't have a whole lot of time for anything other than just focusing on making sure you get into the turn fast and out of the turn fast. That's pretty much your only goal. And again, a lot of these drivers here, you'll see it here. David Payton going into turn 3, sticking down to the yellow line, and out of turn 4, up to the top, to the yellow line again, and back down into turn 1 to the bottom, out of turn 2, and repeat, rinse and repeat from here. This is all that you have to do, is make sure that you are in and out of each turn the same way each time, because I can guarantee you, if you are able to pull this off consistently, you are going to be ahead of whoever it is you're trying to compete with almost every single time. Now, in a series like this, in a league like this, where you have a field of drivers that are all extremely skilled, extremely talented in what they do, it's not going to be quite that simple. But the point of the matter is that you want to be consistent. You want to be able to click those last laps off and not make any mistakes. That is the absolute most important goal that you have as a driver. Here we see it again, Charles Darling trying to make that move around the outside of David Payton. And frankly, you know, if I'm Charles Darling at this point, I'm either getting impatient or I'm getting pissed off. It's one of those two things. But here you see Charles, I mean, still consistently on that outside line, trying to give pressure to David Payton. And I mean, honestly, I'm almost thinking it's working here, because he's consistently on the door of David Payton here. And it does not seem like he's letting off. And the fact that Nick Fleury is just ahead of that 38 machine, I mean, it's not helping David here at all that he's got this traffic up in front of him, and Charles is trying to make the most of it, but oh man, this is a double-edged sword right here. They're side by side. Whoa, look at that. You could almost fit a piece of paper between those two. But surprisingly here, Ron Hart has taken the lead here. With 15 laps left to go as we cross the line. I mean, this short oval, there's so many drivers moving around. It's kind of hard to keep track of where everyone is. Oh, Billy Thomas there. And I'm also assuming here that as drivers are starting to suffer from a little, ooh, you hear the scraping and banging from a couple drivers here with 14 laps left to go. Again, I'm assuming that drivers are starting to be affected by tire wear, among other things here, and it's starting to show its face here at Irwindale Speedway. But Ron Hart, though, he is looking to take away a podium here tonight, a win nonetheless, with 13 laps left to go, and with just over a second of a gap separating himself in second place. Matthew Catania, the 318 machine. I don't know if that he is going to see himself competing with anyone here anytime soon, as, I mean, right now Nick Fleury also sitting just over a second behind Matthew Catania in second place. Nick Fleury holding on to third. He's got a little bit of competition, well, quite a bit of competition actually, from David Payton and Charles Darling just behind him in fourth and fifth place. The top three spots really the third place spot right now is the hottest one that is being competed for at this moment, and Nick Fleury is doing all that he possibly can to hold on to this spot. But will he be able to take it all the way to the checkered flag? Here, as we have an inside camera view of the inside of the 38 machine of David Payton. 6 laps left to go here. Oh, man, oh, man. If I'm Nick Fleury right now, I am doing everything in my power. Oh, wow. David Payton with the slide job. Keeps it together. He's still racing. Didn't even lose a spot from that. Charles Darling, I think, probably checked up on that one. He was probably expecting something much worse to come of that. But no. David Payton doing a phenomenal job of keeping that 38 machine calm and collected. Here with 3 laps left to go at Irwindale Speedway, with the American Sim Racing Club for the Super Late Model Touring Series. Oh man, oh man. And here we see even a little bit of action forming between Austin Nielsen and Brett Hahn, but right now it's the final lap. The white flag is out. 2 more turns left here for Ron as he goes through turns 3 and out of 4. Now he goes a little bit sideways, and he's going to take it sideways across the checkered line for the win. In a very close battle for what is 4th place between Nick Fleury and Charles Darling across the line. And what a race that we had here tonight as the rest of our drivers make their way across the checkered line and we get ourselves ready for our post-race interviews of the night. Here is our post-race results up on your screen right now. We're going to go ahead and get ourselves ready for those post-race interviews. All right, and going to be up first is going to be David Payton, the number 38 machine, taking home 3rd place here tonight for the race, doing a phenomenal job of doing so here. David, sir, do you have a read?
I got you, Mason.
Oh, dear. It seems that I have some technical difficulties here as I cannot hear everyone properly. David, welcome up here to the booth. Congratulations on a podium here tonight, and I mean, it seems like the 38 machine has consistently been taking these podiums, top 5s, if you will, throughout the season, and with only now 2 races left, how are you feeling about your, well, really your success here through the season?
Lucky, I think, is the best word, because once again, I find myself in a podium, and I don't really know how I got here, to be honest with you. Sorry, if you hear squeaking in the background, it's my crazy dog. But I had no confidence coming in here. This track is not really the kind of track that I like to race at. It's really hard to to tell where you're at relative to other people. There's very little reference points, and you're always turning. And so I came in here just with the goal of not wrecking anybody. I wrecked Matt in the heat, so I didn't achieve that goal. But I think we had a lot of really good drivers, or the normal fast guys, that burned up their right front tires and their car just stopped turning. And I think that's what got me into the top 3 tonight, was just being kind of smooth and consistent and not being a try-hard. And you know, when the checkers fall, I wound up in 3rd, so I'll take it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you know, coming into tonight's race with knowing that it's a flat track, Irwindale Speedway, I mean, normal Irwindale probably wouldn't have been as bad, but given that we ran the inner oval here tonight, I mean, what was kind of your, I guess, expectations for tonight? I mean, well, I don't even want to ask that. Not expectations, but what was your preparation here for tonight? I mean, because it's just, flat tracks just a completely different breed, in my opinion, as far as ovals are concerned. So, I mean, kind of just walk me through what was your preparation here for tonight.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I love flat tracks. The flatter, the better with these cars, with the mods. I mean, I love New Hampshire. The only reason I don't like this one is because A, it's super small, you have no time to relax, and B, there's no reference points to kind of gauge where you're at. You know, I had Chuck on my outside for pretty much, it felt like that entire lap. But I think the key, I mean, I did practice last night and then probably maybe 100, 110 laps in practice before the race. And it's all about how you move the throttle coming out. I think that was the key. You have to be so sensitive and so careful with the throttle to make sure that you don't, because if you spin the rear and you light up the right rear, that heat that gets into the tires stays with you at the way that, you know, that iRacing does tire models. It kind of just stays in that right rear for a really long time. You're garbage for like 3 or 4 laps. So that's what I think the key was, is just not lighting up the right rear, being real careful on throttle, and hitting marks that really didn't exist. You know, you just kind of had to get in a rhythm and get used to listening to the RPM and knowing when to brake. And it was just so hard to see anything, especially when we're bumper to bumper. I can't see really past what's going on with the car in front of me. So you just kind of have to pray that everybody's doing what they're supposed to do and keep being consistent and being careful on the throttle.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree with you more there, too. I mean, especially when you're in these kind of single-file races that are typical here on these flat tracks. It, like you said, it's very tough to see what's going on ahead of you. It's, I mean, a little bit tougher to see well, not tougher, but it's a little tough to see what's going on behind you as well. You get a little bit of a picture of that with your mirrors, but I mean, either way, yeah, you're pretty much just hoping and praying that the driver ahead of you knows what they're doing and is confident in what they're doing and not making any mistakes. But David, you were among the drivers here that did not make any mistakes here tonight and just stayed consistent, kept clicking off laps, and you found yourself up here in the podium. So before I let you go here and celebrate, is there anyone watching the broadcast, anyone at home or in the pit crew that you want to shout out and thank before you go tonight?
Yeah, of course. I want to thank you, Mason, and Team Goon Squad for all the broadcasting that Team Goon Squad has been doing for us over the last 2 seasons now. I think you've been with us, and
3 seasons, I think, actually.
Is it 3 seasons?
I think so.
Yeah, it's yeah, I always check them out. I like them. I like some of the new tricks and new toys you got with like the picture-in-picture and the in-car and all that stuff. Looks really cool. So thanks for broadcasting. And of course, I always have to thank my lovely wife, Natalie, for putting up with me, a almost 42-year-old male playing video games. So, and she still loves me, and we're still married. So thank you to that.
Hey, you know what? If she tolerates that, I'd say she's a keeper at this point.
For sure.
Well, David, thank you for joining me up here on the booth. I appreciate you having your time, and I look forward to seeing you next week in what is going to be the season, semi-finale of the series.
Yep, Martinsville.
Yes, sir.
Excited.
All right, have a great night, David.
Thanks, Mason.
Alrighty, folks, that is David Payton, the number 38 car, going to be out of the booth here tonight. And second up is going to be Matthew Catania, taking home second place, the 318 machine. Matthew, do you have a read, sir?
Yes, sir, I do.
Matthew, what a race that you had here tonight. I mean, first of all, let me ask you this. You saw yourself up there leading the field for quite some time, and then at some point, I don't remember exactly what lap, but you saw yourself kind of tucked out on the outside line, and Brett Hahn was able to make his pass down on the inside, and you found yourself dropping down a few positions. I mean, aside from knowing just how difficult Irwindale is in nature, just kind of walk me through what your mental state was at that point and what you were going to try and do to mitigate that.
Well, yeah, I was just trying to save my stuff in the beginning, because I know, I was figuring it was going to go green most of the way. Tight track, a lot of tire wear. And I missed my mark going to turn 3, left a lane on the inside for Brett and Andrew to squeeze on by. I let them by, and my goal after that was just to ride it out, and hopefully one of them would bobble and I'd get a free position here or there. I think when Brett bobbled and Andrew got around him, I was stuck behind Andrew for who knows how many laps, man. I was faster than him off exit, and I just couldn't seem to get around him. I used up my stuff trying to get around him, and then by the time I got to the lead, Ron was on my rear end before I knew it, and man, I could have stayed up there probably a little bit longer. I got a cutting course penalty, and it kind of forced me to let him by, but man, that was tough. That was so tough. I couldn't get a turn the last 25 laps.
Yeah, these flat tracks, man, I always look forward to them because they always kind of bring out the best, most interesting racing, I think, in my personal opinion. But I mean, as far as drivers, you know, you guys go through quite a lot. It seems like, you know, you're really only limited to one line here on this track, and once you make that mistake, once you make that, you know, you overshoot your braking zone by like 10-15 feet, and all of a sudden you're getting passed by 2-3 drivers. It's tough. It's extremely tough. So, you know, after this week here at Irwindale and going to Martinsville next week, which is kind of the same situation where it's a flat-ish oval, I mean, what's kind of your planning going into next week?
Same as usual, I guess. I'm just gonna ride around for half the race and try to save my stuff. Martinsville's not typically my best track, so we'll see how that goes.
Absolutely. Well, you did a phenomenal job up here. You put yourself up here into the podium, second place. Not anything to shrug at. So, great job here for the 318 machine. But before I let you go and crack one open in celebration, Matthew, is there anyone at home, anyone in watching the broadcast or in the pit crew that you want to shout out and thank before you go out tonight?
I'd like to thank my girlfriend, my dad, and my brother for watching. My girlfriend's always there watching beside me in the other room. My dad watches when he can, and it's great to have a little bit of a crowd.
Absolutely. I'm sure it's always great to have a little bit of, well, let's say appreciation when you're behind the wheel for these events. But Matthew, I want to thank you again for joining me up here in the booth, and hopefully get to talk to you again next week at Martinsville.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Have a great weekend, Matthew.
You too.
Alrighty, folks, that is Matthew Catania, the 318 machine, out of the booth here tonight. Last and certainly not going to be least here, Ron Hart, the number 51 machine, taking home the win here tonight at Irwindale Speedway. Ron, it is a rare appearance that we have you up here in the booth, but it is not an uncommon one. Ron, welcome back up here. Congratulations on your win. How are you feeling right now?
Feel good, Mason. 2 in a row, man. Haven't done that yet here, so it feels good. I know I had 11 cars or so, but still had to come from the back on a little tight track like this and got it done. So it feels good to talk to you last again up here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always a great feeling to be able to take home a win in any race, and tonight I feel was definitely no exception given just how difficult this racetrack is, as well as just how not easy it is to make any sort of passes it is. So Ron, I mean, kind of walk me through your night here, and what do you think kind of led to your success here tonight at Irwindale?
Man, this is my kind of track. You know, last week I was able to hold them off and win at Milwaukee, and I was really surprised to run that good there. That's not my kind of track, anything big like that. But these short little bull rings are just fit me well, you know, saving tires, being smooth, consistent. And yeah, a lot of guys just kind of overdrove it there the first half of the race, really burnt their stuff up racing for the lead, and I was able to kind of run 5th or 6th and just save a lot of tire and have it there at the end when I needed it.
Well, Ron, as always, it seems like, you know, you are kind of one of the well, I don't want to say underdogs, but you're kind of like a silent assassin here in the series, if you will. You just you kind of come out of nowhere, and you come out on top, and it's that patient, just waiting things out kind of racing that you know, we don't really get to see a whole lot of, but you seem to pull that off here quite a lot here in the American Sim Racing Club, and I just love to see it. You know, you just patient driving all the way through, and you came out on top able to pull off a win here tonight at Irwindale. So, Ron, I got to ask you one more question. We only have 2 races left in the season. Martinsville is going to be our next race next week. The last race we're going to have is Nashville Super Speedway. So, I mean, I don't have a up-to-date point standings right now, but if I recall, if I'm remembering things correctly, I'm pretty sure you're probably up there in the points. So, I mean, how are you feeling right now with how the season is going, and how do you think it's going to end?
Yeah, so far so good, Mason. I think Tanner just said I got a 10-point lead or something with 2 to go. Able to win the first 2 chase races is always helpful for the points, and somebody's got to beat that 71, man. He's been taking all the championships in the series lately, so that's the goal, is to knock him off the throne here, and I don't mind being the underdog or being patient, man. Just comes from real life, I guess. If I wreck the thing, I got to fix it. And we don't have a lot of spare parts, so I'm kind of got to take it easy out there, and it's got us some wins in a championship there, and hopefully it can do the same here.
Absolutely. I love to hear it. Ron, congratulations on your win here tonight. And before I let you go and crack open a bottle of champagne and spray all of your competitors with it, is there anyone watching the broadcast at home or in the pit crew that you want to shout out and thank for your success here tonight?
Yeah, I think the parents are watching tonight. So I get another one with them watching. They got the right paint scheme on the car this week, so that was cool. Hopefully, if the old man's still watching, we can go get one more on Friday at Spartan Speedway here in Michigan. So be good to get 2 in 1 week.
Absolutely. Love to hear it. And also coming from my home state as well, good luck to you, Ron. I wish you all the best of luck, and hopefully get yourself a podium in your real life race, and hopefully get to talk to you again next week in virtual Martinsville Speedway.
Thanks, Mason.
Absolutely, Ron. Have a great night. Alrighty, folks. That is going to conclude our post-race interviews of the night. Ron Hart out of the booth, the 51 machine taking home the win here tonight. My name is Mason Heimbaugh with Team Goon Squad, bringing you the action. 1080p, 60 frames a second. I hope that every single one of you has enjoyed what we have brought here so far tonight. Thank you all for watching. If you did enjoy what you saw, hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Catch all the action that we have here on Team Goon Squad 7 days a week. And I will catch you all next week, same time, same place at Martinsville Speedway for the second to last race of the American Sim Racing Club Super Late Model Touring Series. Again, my name is Mason Heimbaugh with Team Goon Squad signing off here tonight. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next week.